Ronan Keating, and If Tomorrow Never Comes. Now, earlier in the show, we heard about, the taize community, founded in 1940 by brother Roger Schultz, and he'd moved to France from Switzerland, and he moved there as a Protestant, but he was sort of, thinking that the church shouldn't be divided, and how could it lead a world when it had divisions itself? Taize is now one of the world's most important sites, really, of Christian pilgrimage, and each year tens of thousands of young pilgrims particularly flock to this small village in central France to share in the community's way of life. Well, look, Dr. Stephen Longden is a reader at St Wistons in Repton, where, as we've heard earlier in the programme, Taize is practised, and he joins me on the programme now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So how long has this been up and running as part of your format of worship then?
It's been about 10 years.
Oh, gosh. And who instigated it? Where did it come from?
My wife, Wendy, and I had been to Taize. We'd also, in a previous church, started Taize worship. So when we moved to St Wistons, we met with the new vicar there, Peter, and got chatted, and he'd been to Taize, and it just went from there. We just said, well, let's start a Taize worship at St Wistons. How
did it first take off? Because it strikes me, like any sort of religious service, it has a patter, it has a certain, if you like, format of music and tunes and words that you'd need to learn. People have to be quite committed to learn something new like that, don't they?
They do, but the good thing about Taize is that because the chants are repetitive, somebody that comes for the first time can very easily pick it up, which is one of the great things about it. We do have a set pattern that we've devised, which is the chants, a psalm, but as David said earlier, it's the 10-minute silence, which is very central to that worship, where instead of us talking to God all the time, we give God the chance to talk to us.
Was there a few eyebrows raised when you were first trying to get this off the ground?
I remember a comment by one person that said, it's a bit strange, all these people, particularly if they're singing in Latin. It's a bit Catholic for me.
Which, did you turn them round? Do they come along now? Or do you think this is just, it's, if you like, a tool in the church's toolbox?
The continuation of that story is I was doing a service in that particular church and played some of the chants before the service, and this particular person said, "That was lovely, where's it from?"
I'm thinking you do a good impression as well at this point. So is it that slight suspicion that, you've won people over? Do people come particularly to the church for this service then? Do they travel from outside?
They do, yes. We have a number of people that come from other churches. Interestingly, one couple started to come before they were married and were married in our church and are now continuing to come. They do actually attend another church, but on the first Sunday in the evening, they always come to the Taize worship.
And has it inspired other people to go and do the trip to France?
It has. In fact, what we did about 3 years ago now is we took a group of people who hadn't been before to Taize.
Tell me about the place, because It almost seems to have, as they would say themselves, it's kind of got this monastic tradition that's born up. And I'd find it all terribly serious and a bit intimidating. And, oh my word, it's not my idea of a break or a holiday or a bit of an adventure. But it really gets under people's skin, doesn't it?
It does. I think the whole ethos of the place, which is about community, about reconciliation, about sharing. But if you think it's very serious, you need to see about 5,000 or 6,000 young people all together. There is a bar.
It's France. Of course there's a bar.
So you will see them enjoying themselves. But having said that, there is something wonderful about that many people all singing together, all worshipping together. And a 10-minute silence with that many people is unbelievable.
Do you know, there's so much talk of football at the moment, and we'll be celebrating Burton's victory yesterday after 8 o'clock this morning. But I suppose the nearest anybody have come to that is in a football ground when we've had a minute, 2 minute silence for various events or people. And that in itself is a very levelling and it is a very spiritual experience. So to see great numbers like that for those 10 minutes, is it now, would you say, your favourite form of worship, or is it again just another way of, you say, hearing God and what He's got to say to you? Because we're so used to doing the one-way communication. We are.
I like variety. You will find me in a praise service. You will find me in a Corval Matins leading the chants. You will find me in taize. I think variety is wonderful.
You probably inspired quite a few people to find out more this morning. Are you the only taize group locally, do you know, or do you link up with others in the area?
I don't think there is another one in South Derbyshire. But obviously what we have done, we've been to other churches and led worship to encourage them. And we'd also encourage anybody that wants to find out and join us. In fact, join us every month would be fantastic.
Right, I'm not very good with dates, but did you say the first Sunday?
The first Sunday of each month in the evening at 6:30.
At 6:30 in Repton. And hang on, so when will our next one be? She says, madly reaching for the calendar, because that first weekend in June falls, doesn't it? So I'm right in thinking it'll be the first Sunday.
Yes.
The 1st of June, 6:30, the next opportunity. Great to have you with us this morning. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us a little bit more about it. And if you do fancy finding out more but can't make the 1st of June, by all means, head along to the next service, the first Sunday in July, and you'll be very, very welcome indeed. Fleetwood Mac now on BBC Radio Derby. This is Everywhere.